What's going on, folks? It's the show that you know, Riely Radio. That's what I'm saying. Hey, okay. How we doing, folks? We're live on a Thursday night. We're talking Pokemon, because that's all I've been doing. I've been watching the Pokemon anime, and I've been playing Pokemon Legends ZA. That's what happens when you're unemployed. Your whole life just gets consumed by Pokemon. These are the things that you do to pass the time. But I've been fucking barreling through the Pokemon anime. I'm like 45 episodes in now. I've seen all the banned ones from the first season. I watched the Porygon episode that hospitalized a bunch of little epileptic children because there was all sorts of flashing lights going on. And then they fucking blacklisted Porygon from the anime, which is one of the funniest things I've ever heard. I never noticed. You never notice as a kid. There's so many Pokemon. Like you don't know McDonald's fact no watch. Fuck you. There's so many Pokemon you never notice as a kid. Call Mo. He's almost certainly asleep. You never notice as a kid if one in particular is missing from the show. What's up, Devils for Life? So I never thought about it as a kid. I'm still at work, little bro, come pick me up. I never thought about it as a kid, but like Porygon was just like never in the anime, like at all in America. He just was like deleted from existence. He was persona non grata because he was the poster child for the episode that killed a bunch of children. I don't think anybody actually died, but some seizures were had for sure. One of those classic stories that you hear on like video essay YouTube. Who is spamming the heart emote? Lol. Is that a thing? Is somebody spamming the heart emote? Mo sleeping at 5 p.m. is crazy. That graveyard shift will get you, bro. That shit is fucking vicious. Man, I just can't get over how good the old Pokemon anime looks. Like, it's just how 90s anime look, kind of, but like I feel like it's such a high echelon of that. It's like almost watercolory, and like I just get sucked into it so easily. And of course it helps that all my Pokemon friends are there. Mobile YouTube lives have emotes you can spam. Oh, that's weird. I didn't know this. 90s and 80s animes look way better. I think you might be right about that. I mean, there's something to be said for some modern anime. I've seen some pretty fucking nice ones. But that old style is just like really cool and good. Ash is such a wholesome character. It's really interesting to go back to the beginning now, having the knowledge that he will eventually become the world champion, and that we've seen it happen. Like, I guess we kind of knew that eventually he was gonna have to become a Pokemon master, but now he did. So it's weird. I've gone back and watched the Pokemon anime before, but never has there been like a defined finish line like there is now. Let me rephrase that. When you watch a live you on mobile, you can spam emotes. I see. When will you shave that beard? Someday soon, I'm sure. You're not wrong that it's gone unruly. Saw the famous Snow Way Out episode. One of those episodes that's just like so emotional and dramatic that it's hard to believe that it was made for kids. Where the plot of the episode is Ash and Pikachu get lost in a fucking blizzard and they're fucking freezing to death in an ice cave. And Ash is trying to save his Pokemon by putting them in their Pokeballs, but they refuse. They pop out of the Pokeball, and they just like they all huddle with Ash for warmth, and they're all like, you could tell like Ash starts crying, like you could tell they all kind of think they're gonna die in that cave, like it's really fucking deep. This is the ideal Riley stream, just you and no annoying co-host. Well, I'm in the open call, so that could change at any time. And also, I've done solo gaming streams. You just don't come. You don't care. I need you for those streams so I have somebody to talk to. And you never come through. Old Dragon Ball DBZ just has that nostalgia vibe. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, DBZ looks really nice too. I will say that is an example of modern anime that looks good though, because Dragon Ball Super Broly, the film specifically, might be the most like beautiful anime I've ever seen in my life. So my modern anime can get it when they're doing fun artistic things and not just kind of doing the generic sort of style. I'm busy, little bro. I can't always be there. I know, I know. I remember that episode. I was like 8 in 2004. It scared me as a kid. Yeah, it's fucking scary. Your all your fucking favorite Pokemon friends are gonna freeze to death. There's also the episode where they drown to the bottom of the sea. The episode where Ash and Pikachu die and become ghosts. I talked about those last time, but it's like the circumstances keep stacking where I'm like, man, there was some crazy shit going on. And I know it keeps going. I know at some point in the Hoenn anime, there's like a dark Ash. He gets possessed by some sort of demon spirit. I remember all sorts of like edgy Linkin Park AMVs of Dark Ash. That was like a trend back then, I remember. It's like any like cool hero character, you had to have like the dark or evil version of them. And there was always a lot of fanfare around it, especially if there's any sort of official material. Because like, I'm pretty sure in reality that's like a one-time like gag, like they're dealing with some sort of ghost Pokemon or something that possesses Ash briefly. But then just like this 5 minutes of screen time where Ash is all like evil and glowing and dark becomes its whole own fucking movement with all sorts of fucking fan art and music videos and shit. It's funny how shit works like that. I kind of miss like old internet and like old fandom. Cause new fandom is like there's a lot of cringe, there's a lot of fuck shit going on everywhere you turn in most of the big fandoms. It's like it's fucking tiring to try to be a part of it. I miss like 2010 where it was all like fucking shitty SD YouTube videos made in Windows Movie Maker and like fucking like shitty forums and like no and like maybe Facebook and Twitter did exist but like they weren't so huge and like you were young back then so you didn't have those things or at least like there weren't really I don't think there were really even fandom spaces on those platforms back then but maybe not maybe I'm wrong. But either way, I long for the days. All the like sprite animations of like Sonic the Hedgehog and Goku and shit. That was the peak era. AMVs. I feel like AMVs are fancy now, and I don't like it. Sometimes I'll see like an AMV and it'll be like there'll be too many like fancy editing tricks. And I'll be like, no, no, no. You need to make this in like Windows Movie Maker with very obvious jump cuts. This does not feel right when you try to be all like cute. 2008 YouTube would peak. Yeah, that's about the time. I feel like 2010. That's always where I was there in 2008. I feel like was I there in 2008? No. Well, I think 2008 is probably right when I started being there, like 2008 or 2009, but like 2010 was peak for me, dog. 2010, that was the time to be alive on YouTube.com. Like 2010 through like 2012. Like I was watching fucking all sorts of goofy Pokemon videos and Dragon Ball, Mario, Sonic, sprite animations and fucking Smosh, a whole lot of Smosh. Shout out to Smosh, heroes of my childhood. But they chickened out of being the hero of coming back right and proper. Cause this is a weird thing where they came back, right? We all remember this in 2024. Ian and Anthony bought Smosh. It was this whole big celebration. They started doing like regular Smosh sketches again with Ian and Anthony. And then at some point after like a year of this, they're like, we're going on vacation. We're gonna take like a month or two off or whatever. And then they come back with this like weird show called Bit City, where it's like the whole cast again, and Ian and Anthony are barely in it, and that's the content on the main channel now. And like they don't bring it up until like a random podcast months later, and they do this cope where they're like, yeah, we were just that was just like a celebratory thing. We were doing that for a year as like a fun bit, and now we're doing this, and it's like, no, there's no way that's what you intended. You did not make it sound like that's what you intended. You did the Ian and Anthony thing to try to fucking draw people back in, and then but you couldn't keep the rest of the cast out of it, which you're allowed to use them as side characters. There have often been side characters in Smosh sketches, and they can still play those. But no, they were like, we gotta have everybody in on this. And they stopped doing what everybody was there for. It was all a big scam, and it's like it's what you wonder who was responsible for this. I've heard the theory that like it was like pressure from the rest of the cast. They were like, what the fuck? We're supposed to be like in this. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Uh, and then they kowtowed and did a new thing. It also seems like Anthony just like does not want to be in front of a camera anymore, which is unfortunate because he's probably the funniest on-camera talent they have. And like he's good behind the camera, like he's a good director and shit. Like I definitely can appreciate that he's more passionate about that nowadays, but he's the best performer there, so it's a shame that he's not around. I tune in every once in a while. Sometimes they're doing somewhat funny stuff on there. It's not completely dead, but it's mostly dead. It's certainly like it used to be a cultural phenomenon, and now it's just like a like Quirk Chungus sketch comedy channel and like goofball the internet comedy channel that like is sometimes mildly entertaining. It, it's a fall from grace for sure. Pokemon in real life, those are some classic Pokemon videos. Y'all remember Pokemon in real life? If only I would just put on Pokemon in real life right now. I would love to watch that with you, but I know that Smosh content IDs their shit because of Ghetto Smosh. Do y'all remember Ghetto Smosh? What a time. What's up, bro? Just been checking out the podcast. Was so weird hearing my voice. Yeah. The episode of the Issue Crew that Lee was on was is out now. It was Mimo and Lee. We had a fun conversation. I was happy to have you on, Lee. I want to get you guys on more of my podcasts. That's always been kind of I've been doing the streaming thing more lately, but my bread and butter has always been my like group or pair podcast that I do like on a weekly basis. And I was glad to get you on the Issue Crew. I've been trying to get more of my friends. It's harder when it's like not. It's harder when it's once a week instead of daily. Because daily it's just like, oh, I'll get you this day, but weekly it's like you got to figure it out. I shat myself when I heard myself. Well, Lee, you knew you were going to be on it. I feel like shitting yourself is a little far, wouldn't you say? I'm always down to come up on the podcast. Hell yeah. We didn't record one this week. I've been behind on my recording, which is good because I caught up on editing, and that was one less thing I had to do during my hours and hours of catching up on editing. But now I'm fine. I've got everything done. There was even I titled this stream "Pretending Pokemon Variety Hour isn't over" as a joke. Like, first of all, it was a reference to Foot of a Ferret. And second of all, Pokemon Variety Hour used to be a weekly show, whereas now it just kind of happens whatever. But there was a new episode like 2 days ago, but it was recorded like 2 months ago. So that's how bad I am at keeping up with things. I'll shake your pants and give them back. And McSqueaky, so I have an excuse. Is that like cute code words for your kidney disease? Is that your McSqueaky? Sell them on eBay. Gross. Would people buy like gamer girl shit pants? What am I talking about? Of course they would. They're scat fetishists. There shouldn't be, but there are. Oh, what happens to your brain that you become a scat fetishist? 'Cause it's just like, why would you want to be anywhere near shit? It just seems like all natural inclination in your body would reject it and be upset that you're around it due to its smell and taste if you're into that shit, which I know people are. And it's like, I wonder what fucking switch is flipped different in their brain that it works for them. It's very gross and strange. Those dudes that buy bathwater is wild. I think the bathwater is kind of a gag. I can't imagine, like, what percent, if you cut, I would like to know the statistic. There's no way to know the statistic, but it's one, if you could ask God any question, this is like one I would want to pitch him is, what percentage of purchases of the Gamer Girl bathwater were ironic versus unironic? Because I feel like about 80% of them were ironic, if I had to guess. It's called being a degenerate, yes, but it's like, what about it appeals to them? And how is it, why is there, I don't understand how your brain chemistry could be wired so differently that you would enjoy shit and being around shit and having shit on you. It's just so against all natural. I guess you have to be mentally ill, right? Or is that like a misnomer? Is that like ableist? I guess what is considered a mental illness and what is considered just like a different wiring of the brain. But like, yeah, that's like dangerous for your health. So that's gotta be. You gotta have something fucked in your head. That can't be a good thing. That's not good news. Sorry, I'm going into the light of God. Don't mind me. Two girls, one cup style of people. Exactly. Exactly. Two girls, one cup. That's the kind of shit we're talking about. I don't think I've ever actually seen two girls, one cup. I think I've successfully avoided that one. I've successfully avoided a lot of the famous videos. Unfortunately not Ronnie McNutt's unaliving. The I guess the famous I guess that's it video I have seen, and that still haunts me. But a lot of the other like big famous like disturbing videos I've not seen. Dear Lord, can you give me the stat sheets to sold legit OF bottles bathwater Laval? Please, I just want to know. It would be so funny to have this information. God, you have to understand that. Fortunately, I've never been so throw up emoji in my life. I feel that. Ronnie never died. He did a show and performed live. Wow. It, it was all a bit, as it turned out. It was fake when he blew his head off on Facebook Live. Dwyer also not dead. That was an elaborate bit. That's one of the classic ones. He fucking pulls the fucking pew. I'm trying to use YouTube language because I'm like afraid of my channel getting in trouble. He pulls the pew pew out of the manila folder and he deletes his Minecraft account in front of everybody. I think he pulls it out and he's like, "This is not for you. Don't worry. This is not what you think this is. That's not what we're doing. It's for me." He was like a politician, right? I wonder if that's ever gonna happen again. A politician just gonna get on stage and be like, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. Deuces." Apparently, you can live stream crazy stuff on Facebook, like deleting Minecraft accounts. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to. It happens. I think it happens on every platform. It's just they delete it pretty quick. I swear if someone tried buying some used underwear who I know, I'm grabbing a crucifix and shouting the power of Christ compels you. I don't know if I'd go that far. I don't know if there's any satanic influence. It's just goonery. Just strange, degenerate goonery. Has anybody streamed Minecraft account deletion on Rumble yet? I haven't heard about that. I'm pretty sure people have Minecraft account deleted on Kick. I know they have on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook and such. I wonder if Rumbles had their cherry popped yet as far as on-air suicides or on-air unalives. Fuck. The worst thing I've seen on Kick was people making babies in the dark or getting jumped. Didn't somebody get shot on Kick or was that YouTube? Somebody got shot somewhere recently. There was some sort of like African American gambling YouTuber beef that resulted in a man and woman getting shot to death on live. The internet's a fucked up place. It's weird that I've watched people die. I feel like that shouldn't happen. I feel like the world would be a better place if you didn't have to watch someone die. Especially of like murder with blood. Of like murder or like horrible, gory fate. On Rumble, I've seen a guy spread their cornhole and shake their nutsack. That sounds about right. Ooh, Don't Scream is finally installed. Now it's time to scare Andrea. Is that a wacky new horror game? Don't Scream? Why can't you scream? Riley, do you find entertainment watching people delete their accounts? No. It haunts my fucking dreams. Thankfully, I think I've only seen it the one time. I think Ronnie McNutt is the only deletion of the Minecraft account that I've ever witnessed directly. It's fucked up. I've seen celebrity autopsies. Now I'm messed up. Yeah, I've seen some like fucked up like remain like I think I've seen like the remains from like the helicopter crash on the set of on the Twilight Zone that killed those like Asian children and Vic Morrow. I think I've seen like some of the aftermath of that, and that was pretty fucked up. It's been out about a year, but the whole point is to not scream. It's so funny watching people play it. Interesting. To try not to scream challenge. That's a fun premise. But folks, I was also going to mention because I named this stream about I've seen quite a bit of deleting account. Yeah, thankfully I've stayed away from a lot of it. But I named this stream Pokemon partially because of the anime and partially because of Pokemon Legends ZA. And I just want to say, all of the fucking like enlightened Reddit chudtards that are shitting on Pokemon Legends ZA could suck my fucking cock, bro. I love that game so much. I'm having such a wonderful time. The Legends series has been nothing but amazing hits. Okay? Nothing but fucking certified bangers. Legends Arceus was fucking crazy amazing. And ZA is maybe even more amazing. I'm starting to think it's better than Arceus. I was saying before that I didn't think it was, but now I'm starting to turn, I think. I'm gonna 100% this game, at least the base. I don't know about the DLC. I've heard there's a lot of weird chance-based shit in the DLC, so I don't know if I'm 100% it. I'm definitely gonna play through the quest at least. But I completed the Pokédex, which is the first time I've ever done that. Today, officially, I did it. The Lumio City Pokédex in the base Pokemon Legends ZA, not counting DLC, is complete. I got all the Pokemans. I did it. It was a long, harrowing quest, but I got it done. I've done all the side missions in the game. I have finished the game. I've finished most Pokemon games. They're the only games I do finish, actually. Um, I've seen people do meth, Fent, Duster, and cough syrup and Benadryl across YouTube and Kick streams. Damn. Yeah, but no, I did all the side missions. I completed the Pokédex. Now I just got to do some research stuff. I gotta do Mega Evolution Pokédex, so I gotta get the Mega Stones, and I gotta do Colorful Screws, and that's pretty much it. And then I'll move on to the DLC and see how far I get with that. Oh, Game Week review. What's up? That new RE9 looks cool, but the Silent Hill 2 remake is just a banger. I gotta get into those franchises. I've played like a tiny bit of Resident Evil, like a little bit of 4, and like a little bit of Revelations, and that's about it. And Silent Hill I just haven't touched. Those are both franchises I want to look into. I should do horror games. I gotta do it at night though, because it doesn't work if it's not dark. I should maybe I'll play Five Nights at Freddy's sometime soon. I have like all of them on my PlayStation 5. So we can get down with some at we can get down at the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza perhaps at some point. Maybe even tonight, I don't know. I'm a little sleepy though. So maybe that's being overly ambitious, but I love Resident Evil 7. I'll have to check that one out. I've heard good things about like 1, 2, and 4. Those are like the main ones I've heard of. And 7, whichever one has Lady Dimitrescu. I think that's 7 or 8. If you ever do a horror game, do Silent Hill 2 remake. That I could do Silent Hill 2 remake maybe. Silent Hill's cool. Isn't PT like a Silent Hill demo? Because I've seen a lot of that, and that's like a like freaky looking horror game. That's like weird lost media. Personally, I enjoyed The Village, but wish PT was still around. Yeah, yeah, PT. What a fucking thing. Rick Five Nights, cheap jump scares, Silent Hill 2 remake actually makes you feel paranoid, alone, schizophrenic, and deranged. Well, the thing is, I already own Five Nights at Freddy's, and I would have to pay for Silent Hill 2 remake is the only thing. But I could get into that at some point. At some point in the future. Not during my unemployed arc, surely. Unemployed arc number like 3 or 4 at this point. I can't imagine a game making you feel paranoid, alone, schizophrenic, and deranged. But maybe I'm just not familiar with its game. Silent Hill 2 Remake is always on sale. I think it was 30 on Amazon. Okay, not too bad. More like bum arc, that'll be the next 10 years if you don't fundamentally change. Oh, pish posh. You hush. I know ZA has been fun. I started using a Charizard because watching the old anime has like put me in a Kanto starter mood, and specifically Charizard because I never used Charizard. Which means I'm running 2 fire starters again. I was running Delphox before I started running Mewtwo in the post game. I'm gonna have to run a Torchic too. Like I'm gonna have to switch something for Torchic. Maybe I have to box my starter for Torchic during the DLC because I have to fucking complete the cycle at this point because there's 4 fire starters in the game and I've used 3 of them extensively. I just need a really good jumpy horror game. I want to play Five Nights at Freddy's. That's gonna be my first foray into horror. I'm thinking I might do that later because Freshy's not doing Crash Out, which means there's airtime to be filled. And I don't know if anybody's joining the call today. It's seeming like maybe not. So I think I can push this through to the hour, and then that'll be the cutoff. At least people are in chat. It works when there's a chat that's moving enough like this. There hasn't been a lot of dead air because if I pause and I can't think of anything to say, there's usually something in the chat. This is good. This is what we want as a streamer. Man, I remember the Five Nights at Freddy's craze. What was that? That was 2014, right? I was like 12. All the fan games. One Night at Flumpty's was dope. That was like super well made. It was kind of like a cartoony sort of thing. Silent Hill is just constantly unnerving. You ever had a mental breakdown, Riley? That's how it feels before the mental breakdown. It's very stressful and mentally taxing with how it makes you feel. I have had a mental breakdown, and that's interesting that it makes you feel that way. I've completed all FNAFs except the Mimic Emily wants to play is good. I own like all of them you can own on PlayStation, except for the VR one, because I don't have VR. I haven't really played any of them because I was saving them for streaming them at some point, and I've yet to be possessed. But now I've been thinking about it. This is not the first time I thought about it. Now that you're mentioning me playing horror, Heard people say they don't like the FNAF console. It's been years since I've played them. I forget how it like feels to actually like navigate the cameras and all the shit. Help Wanted and Help Wanted 2. What are those? Are those the VR ones? Yeah, those are the ones I don't have then. I have all the other ones that you can get on PlayStation 5. I don't think I've ever beaten one. I think I've gotten close. Like I think I got stuck on night 5 on Five Nights at Freddy's 1, and I think the rest of them I got stuck on like 3 or 4. Horror games I think help streams, just my opinion. Yeah, it's like an easy like entertaining content because it's like fun to watch people get scared. I've had like 3 mental breakdowns. It's very taxing and stressful and unnerving. I had to take a break because the build up or the mental breakdown feeling is very uncomfortable. Maybe I'm very mentally ill too. Well, yeah, maybe normal people would just play their shit and be like, yeah, that was kind of scary. And then they would just go about their day. And meanwhile, you're like, holy shit, it's like I'm having a real mental breakdown. Oh, oh. You just fucking collapse to the ground and die. Man, FNAF 3 was just a pain in the ass, and like Sister Location is good. Yeah, I've heard good things about Sister Location. I've never played anything after the first 4. I've seen, I believe it was Sister Location I watched somebody play, and it seemed really interesting. I've only played myself the first 4. Yeah, it really does feel like that. It's been a month since I played Silent Hill 2 because of that. I need a break. This is abusing me. I'm being abused by this video game. And half joy of creation is just funny. I forget if that one is on PlayStation. I'm sure I have it if it is. I just remember hearing that name and being like, what the fuck does that mean? Joy of creation? The FNAF lore is fucking wacky, yo. And like all the Afton shit, that all comes from the novels, right? Because like I played the first 4 games. I don't remember any of this shit. Like I just remember like some of the shit that Matt Pat said. Like I guess it's all from the books, right? All this fucking like it's the Aftons and Michael Afton and William Afton. I think Joy of Creation you have to find links to download now. It's a pain. Oh, it's like oh, is it like a weird one? Another weird one's FNAF World, which I feel like is just good and I want to play. Bye Riley, my local streams to 10 viewers is live. He's 37 and a bum and a man baby. Wow. Choosing laughing at a man baby over spending time with your friend Riley. Fucking tragic. I'll remember this, Redux. I'll remember when you abandoned and betrayed me. Yeah, FNAF World seems based. I want to play that. When are you playing the Monkey RPG? Yeah, I'm sure that's a good use of my time. The like shitty RPG maker. text RPG with like old Mumkey memes. The Mumkashi RPG. While Cal has priority, chat tries to get him to spurg out. The lore is good, but the problem with it is it's backwards, the lore, and then it's like, how do you carry on FNAF after the pizzeria? No. It'll ever be. I guess, like, did the Angry Video Game Nerd game start as a fan game? Because, like, it's why there's always like YouTuber games that like fans start, but they never like get finished. It's always just like one demo. Yeah, you do 10 podcasts a week. Well, fuck you. But like, yeah, the like Monkey RPG is like fucking 20 minutes long. Fucking I remember there was a Dick Show RPG that was just like a little demo. Um, the only like YouTuber game I can think of, I guess there was like PewDiePie's Tuber Simulator, which I'm sure was entirely corporate. There were corporate ones, but like I don't know if the Angry Video Game Nerd game was corporate or if it was like a fan game that went corporate. But like all the like PewDiePie and Smosh mobile games and shit were obviously just made by fucking Chinese mobile game companies. There's a Tobuscus Adventures game. I don't think you can get it anymore. I have no idea what it was like. Anybody remember Tobuscus Adventures? Again, what a time on YouTube. The olden days. That was my guy. That it was like Smosh Games and Tobuscus were my only like Minecraft guys. Like everybody always talks about like Sky does Minecraft and like Tan DDM, Dan TDM and shit. I had Tobuscus and I had Mariecraft. I just can't wait for the COD Zombies new map. You're still playing COD? Another one of these fucking COD players? COD's gay. COD is like it's just the same shit every time. Like whatever, there's different guns, like there's different whatever. It's like it feels like it never innovates enough, so it's only I've said this a million times, but you've never heard it, Lee, where it's like I feel like it's only as good as it feels. Like the only thing you can have as a Call of Duty game is like how well everything flows and how well it feels to like play the game. And they did that perfectly in Black Ops 1. And it's never gotten better. So like if I ever want to play Call of Duty, I just want to play Black Ops 1 specifically. The new ones are gay. I love COD Zombies. I've played Zombies since World at War. I love the storyline of the Ether. The storyline of the Ether. Storyline of D's nuts. You fucking nerd. I say doing a fucking Pokemon podcast. I wonder what Freshy's up to. I assume he had some sort of circumstances come up and that's why Crash Out is not occurring. It's a slow night. Nobody wants to. But Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 is the best. Now Black Ops 7 reminds me of them. Okay, so it's good then? They're tapping back in on Black Ops 7. I'm just really not a first person shooter guy in general. COD Zombies is like the one of the more fun first person shooter activities though. Any like zombie shooter is more fun than like a war, just like soldiers shooting soldiers or whatever. I like mowing down zombies, even though zombies are overrated, as I said in that like years old issue crew clip that I just saw Willie the Warden comment on with Walking Dead lore facts. Personally, I think so. Other probably won't agree, but it feels to me like Black Ops 1 and 2, well, that's a ringing endorsement. Black Ops 2 was pretty good. And whenever I tell people that Black Ops 1 is the best one, they're always like, "No, bro, Black Ops 2." And it's like, "Yeah, Black Ops 2 was also fine, but like I think Black Ops 1 just like there's something about it specifically. I can't define it, which probably means it's just retarded, but I think it's the best one. They nailed it in one. Bro, it's always weird when it's actually cold in Florida. No, Black Ops 1 was the best. Let's go. But it's always weird when it gets cold in Florida. First of all, I know nobody feels any sympathy because the coldest it gets is like the mid 30s. And I know people are in like negative degrees snowstorms, so they're like, fuck you, kill yourself, you idiot. But like when your body is used to a certain level of temperature, and it's like I like the cold to a certain degree. Some Floridians it's just ridiculous. Like some Floridians, if it's below 75, they're in a fucking burqa. But me, it's like as long as it's over like 60, I'm dancing and singing in shorts and a t-shirt. But once you start getting below 60 is when it starts getting like dicey, like a little chilly. Once you're down in like the mid 40s to low 40s to the 30s, it's rough. When you're used to Florida weather where it's like consistently like 80s all the fucking time and then suddenly it's like 35. This morning it was insane. Like I was outside like looking for my cat who had escaped again. That little fucker, Vito, that piece of shit. Uh, and it's like my feet were about to fucking just crack off, like like freeze entirely into an ice cube, and then just fucking right off. Fucking crazy cold out there. I don't know why he would want to escape in such weather. He really values his frolicking. He'll do it rain or shine, no matter the weather, through cold, through hot. Black Ops 2 was good for Buried and Origins. I don't remember any of the maps very well. I remember I liked 5 because it was funny that it was the president's. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've exactly said this is what happens. Because I can't complain because yeah, exactly. Bro, you think it's cold here? Try being me right now. I'd love to live in Florida or Georgia right now. It's like hypothermia weather. Yeah, I know it's like cold in a lot of places. There was like a big snowstorm in fucking half the goddamn country like a week ago. That was interesting that happened. Oh shit, I forgot biggest problem in the universe is tonight. Maybe I'll swing by the store, buy me an energy drink, watch it. It is Thursday, right? It's Thursday. Bro, the UK is always damn cold. I've heard that. I've heard that it's a colder sort of place. Man, I'm so happy to be watching the Pokemon anime. And it feels so attainable now, whereas it never did before because it was never ending. I really do want to watch Ash's entire journey. Like, Ash might be my favorite main character in anything. He's just like he's so wholesome. He just loves Pokemon so much. He just like is brave just without even thinking about it. Like he's an idiot, at least early on, but like he just like is brave and noble without like even having to consider it at all times. Like I love Ash Ketchum. I'm enjoying starting his journey from the beginning. Been having a lot of fun, and it's gonna be interesting as we get further along the line, especially when I get to like Alola and Journeys, because those I just like have not seen because they were after my time. And there's a whole mini arc at the end where like Ash like brings all of his old Pokemon into rotation and he's traveling with Ash and Misty again. And there's all sorts of like tying little loose ends of things in very sweet ways. And I've seen like clips and read about it and I want to watch it so bad, but I'm saving it. I'm saving it for when I get there. That's the trap I've fallen into. Is like I'm watching clips from later on, and I'm like, I really want to see that season, but like I'm like 300 episodes away. That's the thing when you're watching a fucking 1,000 episode show. But I'm in for the long haul. I know absolutely nothing about Pokey Pokey except a few characters. It really something about you calling it Pokey Pokey viscerally annoys me. So just something about it makes me want to jump through the computer screen and drop kick you. Um, no, I was born in and molded by the Pokey Pokey. So I'm very invested. Pokemon Day is next month. Every year on Pokemon Day, we get the big announcement, the anniversary of Pokemon. It's the 30th anniversary of Pokemon this year. So you better get some cool shit. I just want them to put the old games on Nintendo Switch Online. I want to be able to fucking boot up. Because you see, I can play any Pokemon game in the world on my computer or my phone. But, like, something about gaming on a gaming console is what I want to do. Pokey Pokey Day, yeah. Like, I want to be able to just boot up my video game console and play whatever video game I want to play. And that's hard when you're into like a lot of retro games. Thankfully, Switch Online makes it easy in a lot of cases, but they just don't have any Pokemon because Pokemon has always been afraid to sell their old games or make their old games available. Like even the 3DS Virtual Console releases of the Pokemon Gen 1 and Gen 2 were like at the end of the 3DS's lifespan. Like they resisted it for the whole fucking lifespan of the 3DS until like the last few years. And now, we've had Game Boy and Game Boy Advanced for a while on the Switch Online, and we don't get them. Even if they sell a collection, like, I'll be a little annoyed that they're gonna fucking bilk me out of $70 or whatever. I'd get it though. I'd get it. And I know I'm not alone. It's easy money. Even if like and it's easy money for Nintendo, you'd think Nintendo would be really trying to sweeten the pot, get them to put it on Switch Online because that'll drive subscriptions for sure. Especially if they have home functionality and like online functionality. which I'm sure that they can and will. It has to happen eventually. There's a lot of deniers who don't think it's gonna happen, but I think we have to either get a collection or they go on Switch Online at some point. Before the lifespan of the Switch 2 is up, we will have to see it. At least red and blue. At the very fucking least, red and blue. I'll say this, even during the early 2000s, I couldn't get into Pokey Pokey. I liked Beyblade. I liked both of those things, but I can't imagine seeing both of those and being like, fuck Pokemon, I'm only into Beyblade. Pokemon was definitely the primary of the two interests, but I was into both for sure. Beyblade was on Jetix. Jetix was my shit, dog. They had Power Rangers and Beyblade and Yin Yang Yo. And what else was on Jetix? Digimon, the other type of Mon that there is. There was Digimon and or not Digimon. There was I just didn't like it. Then the rip-off Digimon just now. Digimon, look, people on the surface, Digimon seems like a rip-off. I don't blame people for thinking Digimon is a rip-off. But there's something to Digimon, man. You gotta look deep in there. Obviously, its existence is tied to the success of Pokemon, but it's different in a lot of ways, especially lore-wise. Like it's surprisingly like interesting lore, and there's a lot of like weird directions they go with it in different iterations. I like Digimon. Pokemon obviously wins the war of the Mons. But I enjoy them both. But yeah, it was Jetix, and then there was like the four kids shit, where it was like Yu-Gi-Oh and Dinosaur King and Pokemon. Never caught One Piece as a kid. That was a four kids property. They had the One Piece rap where it goes ya yo. Bro, sorry, but Yu-Gi-Oh and Digimon is a ripoff. Yu-Gi-Oh's a whole different thing. Come on. Yu-Gi-Oh's a card game. That's like saying Beyblade's a ripoff of Pokemon. Beyblade is spinning tops. They're not animals. Yu-Gi-Oh is card. I guess they're monsters still, but like it's different because it's a card game. And also there's like ancient gods and pharaohs and shit. There's no pharaohs in Pokemon. You fucking fool. You idiot. There's an Anubis, I guess. I think Lucario's an Anubis. The reason Yu-Gi-Oh is a card game based on Poke's card game. Yeah, but Poke's card game was not. There's no show about Poke's card game. It was just a card game to have, to sell, to make money. It was a Game Boy game though. That game was sick. The Pokemon trading card game, Game Boy Color game. That shit went hard. That shit had no obligation to go as hard as it did, but it certainly did. And then they made a second one, which I think was just as good, but it never came out in America for some reason. I guess the American kids weren't interested in playing card games on their Game Boys when they could just play card games in real life. So I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh came out after the Poke cards got popular. It's all rinse and repeat back then. Yeah, things bounced off of each other, but I think they all found their own identities. Like I think Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon as franchises have grown beyond just being Pokemon ripoffs, and to just dismiss them as such is sort of unfair, is just what I'm saying. But anyway, I think I've nerded out enough. I said before, you guys are getting a clean hour out of this one. So, folks, there you go. We're gonna wrap it up here. Thanks for coming out. Maybe I'll do an hour of Five Nights at Freddy's if I get back from the store in time to do that and then watch Biggest Problem. The 90s and the 2000s was very, very copycatish. That's true. Everybody was finding the new big thing, and then everybody would do their own version of the big thing. That was a trend. I guess that's kind of always been a trend, right? Like even now, like that happened with battle royales a couple years ago. I feel like now it's kind of happening with like retro styled indie games. There's always the big thing, and then everybody trying to suckle off the big thing. But usually those things can find their own identities and be good in their own right. Because like we've kind of reached the point in society and in art where like everything is a ripoff of something, and like maybe that's like a fucking like ooh man like fucking enlightened Reddit opinion, but I mean it's true. It's one of those things where it's like yeah it sounds pretentious, but like it's also obvious. But anyway, yep, we're gonna wrap it up here. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow for the Friday night stream. The last talk show stream of the week, most likely. Yep, games are copy pasta in all, or copy. Why I think I said copy pasta. Games are copycats in all manners. So true. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. Sayonara.